so I can share my screen.
You're live.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. Tonight, this is the Pillar 2 Advisory Committee meeting focused on public input. My name is Brian King. I am the chair of the committee. I am a principal down in the southern part of the state in Charles County at an elementary school. And before we move into some updates from AIB staff and our public comment, I want to allow the rest of the committee to introduce themselves. So I will pass it off to the committee vice chair, Ms. Patricia Twitty.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Patricia Twitty. I am an assistant principal in Prince George's County, and I will pass it over to Ms. Devora.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Devora Danielson. I am here as my role is a teacher, National Board Teacher, Career and Technical Education. I will now pass it over to our student member. Ola, are you ready?
Hi, my name is Obiena Jutumba. I'm a student member on the Pillar 2 board, and I currently live in Carroll County.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'd like to pass it to Justin.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Justin Robinson. I'm the board liaison for this committee. I'm a numeracy coach in Prince George's County, Maryland, and I will pass it to, is that everybody? Who did I miss? Does it?
I think we have all the committee members present introduced, and I know we also have some AIB staff in our meetings. So if they want to introduce themselves, that'd be great.
And Rachel Amsted's the policy director here at the AIB. Arshia?
Hi, everyone. Arshia Sathi-Snowden, Outreach and Communications Director at the AIB. I'll pass it to Emma. Oh.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma Pellerin. I'm the Accountability Director at the AIB, and I will pass it to Joy.
Hi, I'm Joy Schaefer, Government Relations Director at the AIB.
Great. Thank you to all the committee members and AIB staff for introducing themselves. And on behalf of the committee, I want to express appreciation to those joining us to share their insights and suggestions tonight. The great majority of tonight's meeting is focused on collecting public feedback and recommendations concerning Pillar 2. The AIB will consider this input as they revise the Blueprint Comprehensive Plan. So before we begin, AIB staff will provide a brief overview of the process to update the Blueprint Comprehensive Plan.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Chair King. So I'm sharing my screen, so I hope you can see some slides there. Move to the first one. So I just want to go over the purpose and the process by which we update the purpose for the Blueprint Comprehensive Plan and the process by which we update it. The purpose is to guide the work of the state and local agencies and entities that are charged with implementing the blueprint. The comprehensive plan sets out specific objectives for each of the 5 pillars, the tasks that must be implemented to achieve those objectives, the date by which they must be achieved, and then who holds responsibility for each task. It's updated annually, and by statute, the requirement is that any updates must be adopted by August 1st. Since the initial comprehensive plan was adopted in December 2022, there have been a lot of lessons learned by the AIB, the state and local partners, and changes to the implementation requirements and guidance have been informed by these insights gained from these experiences, as well as through stakeholder feedback, public feedback, like from sessions such as this. So suggestions for updates to the comprehensive plan generally fall into a couple of categories. changes that are allowed within the parameters of the comprehensive plan and are within the AIB's purview to change. And then there are suggestions which would affect components of the law, and these would require legislation by the General Assembly in order to make a statutory change. In it, the comprehensive plan aligns to the achievement by pillar of specific objectives that are articulated in the plan. Suggestions for these updates must relate directly to those defined objectives. So specific to pillar 2, high quality and diverse teachers and leaders. The 5 objectives addressed in the Blueprint Comprehensive Plan are recruit, support high quality, diverse teachers to meet workforce needs. 2 is increase rigor for teacher preparation programs and licensure requirements. 3rd is implement comprehensive in-service educator training. 4th, establish new statewide educator career ladder and professional establish a new statewide educator career ladder and a professional development system. And 5th, improve educator compensation. Each year, the plan is updated to incorporate any changes in policy that affect, incorporate any changes in policy or the law that affect implementation. So since the committee received a detailed briefing on the 2025 legislative changes at your April meeting, I'm just going to quickly highlight these changes now. So the Excellence in Maryland Public Schools Act made several statutory changes affecting Pillar 2, including a 3-year operational pause to the implementation of collaborative time and the requirement that in FY26, MSDE provide technical assistance to LEAs in order to develop innovative models for teacher collaboration. There was additional legislation that made a technical fix, so to speak, to legislation that was passed in 2024, which in effect removed an additional and unintended barrier for candidates successfully obtaining their degrees from traditional teacher preparation programs. And then in terms of teacher recruitment, retention, and development, House Bill 504 expanded the existing programs and launched new initiatives. You'll remember in April, we discussed the expansion of Grow Your Own, the launch of a national teacher recruitment campaign, and then establishing a relocation incentive grant and the Academic Excellence Program and Fund. The bill also made changes to the school leadership program so that it now provides different levels of training for school system and school level leadership. In terms of policy changes, in May, the AIB and the State Board of Education adopted a joint policy, policy number 4, on the career ladder, which establishes direction for LEAs to pilot level 4 teacher roles and responsibilities with minimum teaching time of less than 50% during the 2025-26 school year. This will provide additional data regarding the time needed for level 4 teachers to successfully fulfill their career ladder duties while maintaining their connection to the classroom. And the AIB and the State Board of Education will use this information to inform possible recommendations for changes to the career ladder that might require legislation. And then just a brief overview of the timeline. I'm sorry, I think I skipped a slide. A timeline for the comprehensive plan update. So feedback is gathered from public meetings like these, from state agencies and organizations, and written comments provided through our survey that's on our website, which will be open through July 11. In order to meet the statutory the August 1st statutory deadline for updating the plan, the board will consider changes to the comprehensive plan at their regular meetings in June, on June 26th, and then for decision on July 24th. And finally, in terms of feedback opportunities, there are advisory committee public input sessions like this one throughout the month of June. There is one more next week on the 24th for Pillar 4. Staff have reached out to state agencies, entities, and organizations to solicit feedback. And I mentioned earlier the survey available for written submission of comments on the website. And these opportunities have been communicated through a robust and systematic communication strategy. So with that, Chair King, I'll turn it back to you, though I am also happy, of course, to take questions.
Okay, great. Thank you for all that information. Before we turn to public comment, any advisory committee members have any questions or comments on that update? Okay, so we will now shift to the public comment section of our meeting, and just a couple of pieces of information for both our speakers and the committee members, just so that we have a good flow to this next part of the meeting. First, I want to make sure that our speakers are aware that this meeting is being transcribed and recorded. And we have 5 speakers that have signed up to give comment tonight. Each will have up to 2 minutes to speak. And to the speakers, you'll see a countdown timer in the corner of your video tile. And when the time is up, there'll also be an auditory alert that your time has finished. I will announce the speakers in order, and staff are also going to drop the speaker list into the chat so that you can keep track of when your time is up. To advisory committee members, you are welcome to ask a question or ask for clarification from the participants. Just to note, during public comment, we will all be muted. So if you would like to ask a question, please just use the raise hand function and someone from the AIB will unmute you. For those offering comments today, when you are called on to provide your comments, please enable your camera and staff will unmute your microphone for you. If you're watching this live stream or on another device, please kindly mute that device before you start speaking, just to avoid background noise and feedback. For our viewers, as staff mentioned earlier, if you did not sign up to give comments during today's live meeting, you can still provide your input through written comments. And there is a link to the Blueprint Comprehensive Plan survey on AIB's homepage, aib.maryland.gov. And that survey is going to remain open for written submissions through Friday, July 11th. So unless any committee members have a question about the comment process, we can go ahead and get started. Okay. So our 5 speakers today in order are Mary Pat Fannin, Jody Wang, Christy Matthews, Elizabeth Zogby, and Danielle Frankfield. So before you begin your comments, if you could please tell us your name, and if you are speaking on behalf of an organization, the name of that organization. Whew. Okay. And so with all that, we are now ready for our public comments. So Ms. Fannin, you can go ahead and start us off tonight.
Great. Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Mary Pat Fannin, and I'm the Executive Director of the Public School Superintendents Association of Maryland, or PSAM. On behalf of Maryland's 24 local superintendents, I want to express our strong support for the Blueprint and our deep appreciation for our continued partnership with MSDE and the AIB. I'd also like to thank you for your service on this committee. Today, I'll highlight 4 recommendations from PSAM with written comments to follow. First, we urge the committee to support amending the statute and remove the teaching time requirements and NBC credential for assistant principals and principals. These administrators operate under separate bargaining units in most LEAs, and these requirements are not appropriate for their roles as building leaders. If NBC elements are beneficial, then they should be addressed through the licensure regulations by the state board, not through the Blueprint's career ladder provisions. Second, we need a collaborative strategy between LEAs, MSDE, and the AIB to address the delayed implementation of the collaborative time requirements. A clear plan is critical to meeting both the Blueprint's intent and operational feasibility by fiscal 29 when the pause is lifted. Third, we recommend that the AIB examine the effectiveness of NBC as a tool for recruitment and retention. This includes analyzing its impact on student outcomes, its relevance to diverse teacher pipelines, and whether other parallel pathways might be more effective, especially for veteran teachers, career changers, and those in special areas like special education and CTE. Fourth, we strongly urge respect for local collective bargaining. Each district has unique staffing and budget constraints. Preserving local autonomy and bargaining is essential, and state-level involvement or public commentary on local agreements should be minimized. Thank you for your time and attention and your continued partnership.
Thanks so much, Mary Pat. Any questions from committee members? Okay, we will move on to Liz then.
Good evening. My name is Liz Zogby, and I'm here on behalf of the Education Advocacy Coalition. We're 50 organizations and individuals concerned with education policy for students with disabilities in Maryland. I also served as co-chair with Dr. Wright of the Blueprint Special Education Work Group that recently submitted its final recommendations to the AIB. Thanks for this opportunity to share our feedback on Pillar 2. Teachers are the most important in-school factor affecting student outcomes, and for students with disabilities, 73% of whom spend 80% or more of the day in general education classrooms, both general and special educators matter. But the separation of general and special education at the state, district, and school levels is a persistent barrier to progress. Dismantling these silos is critical and core to our suggested revisions. We will submit our feedback in writing, but here are a few points. Recruitment and retention efforts should prioritize special educators and duly licensed educators in marketing and outreach efforts, scholarships, and grow your own programs. Data collected on these efforts should be disaggregated for special and general educators. We need a statewide plan with benchmark objectives for reaching the goal of a diverse, effective, and stable teacher workforce over the next 5 to 7 years. Educator preparation programs and licensure requirements should be aligned with the competencies needed to effectively teach students with disabilities. The work group developed lists of competencies, including inclusive mindsets, evidence-based best practices, universal design for learning, trauma-informed behavioral supports, and more. Ongoing job-embedded professional learning for educators and training for administrators and education leaders should focus on the same competencies. Finally, strategies for use of non-instructional time in the career ladder should focus on collaborative time for general and special educators and targeted professional learning. We also recommend adding output and outcome measures that disaggregate data by educator role to monitor our progress and adjust our strategies as we move forward. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Liz. Any clarifying questions from the committee? Okay, and then we will move on to Danielle, who as of right now is our last speaker present.
Good evening, members of the AIB Pillar 2 Advisory Committee. My name is Danielle Crankfield, and I'm speaking today on behalf of the Maryland School Counselor Association. I come before you today as the 2025 Maryland School Counselor of the Year and a National Board Certified School Counselor. I'm here to respectfully ask the AIB to follow up on an outstanding action item from page 99 of the Blueprint Comprehensive Implementation Plan. This item directs the AIB and MSDE to develop guidance for LEAs regarding National Board Certification for school counselors and the requirements to be eligible for the NBC salary increases. That guidance has not yet been issued, and this delay has real consequences. School counselors engage in the same rigorous National Board Certification process as our teacher colleagues, using data to identify student needs and implementing interventions that support academic achievement, college and career readiness, and social emotional development. But without access to the National Board Certification salary enhancement, school counselors are being left behind. Many are reconsidering whether to pursue certification at all, and others are choosing to retire earlier or avoid positions in high-need schools because the incentive to continue growing and serving in challenging environments simply is not there. This isn't about fairness. It's about student outcomes. The Blueprint recognizes the importance of high-quality educators, and school counselors are educators. We are also the only mental health professionals eligible for National Board Certification. We urge the AIB to complete this action item and issue the necessary guidance so that school counselors can be fully included in the Blueprint's salary and certification structure. Thank you for your time and your continued work on behalf of Maryland students and educators.
Thanks so much, Danielle. Any questions from the committee? Okay, so those are the public commenters who are present. So I will hand it back to the chair.
Great, thank you. And to the three folks that offer public comment tonight, thank you for taking the time to attend this meeting and share your feedback and perspectives. And I know that the AIB looks forward to considering it along with any other written feedback that is received through the website. It will help to inform the Blueprint Comprehensive Plan updates and implementation efforts across the state. So thank you all. And with that, I will turn it over to Rachel.
Rachel, you're still muted. Okay.
Got it. Thanks, Brian. I just want to share a little bit of information about next steps with regards to the feedback that we've heard today and that we will continue to receive. Public input will continue through mid-July. So we have one more session for Pillar 4 next Tuesday. And then we are, as Brian mentioned, still accepting written feedback for any pillar, any component of the Blueprint Comprehensive Plan. And then at its July meeting, the AIB board will be considering all of the input that has been shared to date. And then they'll determine what input they can and should act upon. And once that is done, the Blueprint Comprehensive Plan will be updated. I think that's the last part of that. The only other piece I want to mention while I still have you all is that the advisory committee nomination process is still open. So we have a seat open on Pillar 3 and Pillar 4, and student seats open on Pillar 1 and 2 seats on Pillar 5. So if you know somebody, please spread the word. We are trying to recruit and have a big net so that we can ensure great representation across the state. So if you need any information about that, it is on our webpage. If you go to the homepage on the carousel, you'll get a link to the page that it's on there, or you can email me and I will gladly get you that information. Outside of that, I think that's all the updates that we have. Are there any questions about the next steps with feedback for the BCP? All right. Well, we very much appreciate. Oh, Devorah?
Yeah, Rachel. So what would be our role in that? Just basically what we did tonight?
Yes, that was the role for the advisory committees, was to help hear the feedback, to consider it in the sense of ensuring that it makes sense to you. Like, do you have any clarifying questions or anything you want to understand better before it gets passed on? And then you're welcome to attend the meeting or watch the recording of the meeting in July to know what recommendations are made. And at that point, we also will follow up and share with each committee and the public everything that is recommended for change in this year's BCP. So there's no more official steps that anybody has to take on any of the advisory committees. If there's anything that you think of down the road in the next month as you're enjoying your summer and you're like, hey, we should have mentioned this, or as I'm thinking about it, this should have been mentioned, please feel free to email that to us, submit it through the form, or copy us on an email, and we'll definitely include that for consideration. Great question. Any other questions? All right, Brian, I think I'm going to pass it back to you to close us out. Might be record time.
Great, thank you, Rachel. And I do see a note in the chat just to verbalize it in case the chat doesn't show up on the streams, that advisory committee applications close on Friday the 20th. So this upcoming Friday the 20th at midnight. And to close us out, I just wanted to again thank those that offered comments tonight, AIB staff, for supporting us through tonight's meeting and really all of our work as an advisory committee. To fellow advisory committee members, thank you for the time and thought you've given to this. I know that folks have put in a lot of effort to coordinate guest speakers and to really be thoughtful and intentional about the time we spent together. So thank you to all of you for that. We will not be meeting in July or August. And for returning committee members, we'll connect in August to start thinking about what the next year will look like. And so with that, I'll pause briefly in case any other committee members have comments.
So I will just reiterate what Brian said. Thank you to all of our public speakers for showing up today and allowing your voices to be heard. We definitely and truly appreciate it. To Rachel and the other AIB committee members, team members, we always appreciate your support and just getting our speakers, helping us with the agendas for the meeting. And then to my fellow committee members, I echo what Brian said. Enjoy your summer. Hopefully, some relaxation, some rest, and reflection is a part of that.
Will Obia be with us, our student member, or are you there, Obia?
Yes, I will.
Oh, okay.
Our student members get the option to continue on for 1 year, and she has gladly accepted that call. So we're super excited to have you continue with us. You actually have no new members coming. You'll return with the whole team coming back in the fall. So we get 1 more year together as a team. I think with that, we're done for tonight. So thank you all very much. We appreciate it, and have a great night.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good summer, everyone.
Good job, everybody.
1 more to go.